Look at the peak between the buyers and the sellers. But if you go prior to that with the sellers and buyers, you have to go to 2015, 2016. That gap is not keep going back a little bit, Rob. Keep going back, right there. No, a little bit to the front, right there. One back, okay, right there. Look at the difference between that, and that's still not as bad as it is today. So this has to be a horrible time to be a realtor and a loan officer. I mean, if you're still a realtor making money, you know, you have outlasted a lot of guys that have probably quit and left.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
I'm not leaving, and you shouldn't leave too, because I think this market is just about ready to get fairly interesting as we go through this year. Hey everyone, this is Rayce Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker, and exactly as Patrick David said in the beginning, that if you've been here this long, you've made it through the good, the bad, and the uglies, I like to say. And I don't know if you know this, but there's opportunity in every market. I know agents that are crushing it regardless of what the market does. And if you don't listen to any other part of this video, listen to this. When the market shifts, the question is who's going to be here to take advantage of it? And what you can do in a slower market is pick up market share. You can also learn to what I call hunt.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
Meaning there are less buyers, just a fact, we'll look at the numbers, out in the market right now. And that means you have to have better systems, better sales skills, better things that are going to carry you through regardless of the market. And I kind of think with things that are cyclical, real estate, mortgages, title, different things, you're either in or you're out because you don't control the market. And the people that are in are always going to find a way to make a lot of money. Now, this is what this chart that he was showing in the Patrick David video in the beginning. And it is really interesting. Look, we don't have I've covered this in other videos. We don't have an issue with sellers. I mean, there are less sellers in the market. People are worried about having too many sellers. That's definitely not the case. But look at the gap between buyers and sellers, and look how low this is. You can't even see on the chart. This goes all the way back to 2014, other than for a blip where there's been this low of buyers. And so we don't have a seller issue. We have a buyer participation issue. And that's important because buyer demand is very elastic. They can choose to buy or not to buy. They can just rent. They can find other options. They can live with family. And that's what you're seeing, because when payments are higher and the news press is saying, I don't know if this is a good time, you're going to see buyers sit it out. And I feel like this is a little bit of Groundhog's Day, because we had drifted down in rates for a while, and then all of a sudden we jump back up. And now with where rates are at, you're seeing people say, I don't know if now is a good time. And obviously a lot of sellers, to be able to buy, need to sell their house, so they want a condition where they can sell and buy. So there's also pent up demand in sellers that when rates come to a certain point, and I would say that point is anything between 5.5% to 6%, we see mortgage applications jump. So if you want to know what the secret is to get buyers to participate, it's interest rates. No surprise there. So when we look at rates here, this is the 30-year fixed rate, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. We had this nice trickle down really since the summer of last year. We've been heading the right direction. I had a prediction that we would hit around 5.5% or so by the end of 2026. And I think we were on track for that. Then we had this huge jump up, and now we've kind of stabilized back in this line, strangely, that I've covered a million times, that we always have ended up here really since the end of last year, the 6.5% to 6.25%. And will the Fed do anything to help us out here? So when we look at the Fed, 99.9% chance they don't cut here in the meeting. I believe it's this week on April 29th. Then we have the meeting in June, or June coming up. Maybe my computer, there we go. Another, again, same July, same September. So really the market not hardly pricing in any rate cuts. And that's important because the market is looking into the future, saying where rate's going to be. And right now there's a lot of uncertainty. I still think very, very quickly we could jump below 6%. People are already getting below 6% if they have a lot of equity on a refinance, paying points or discount fees. So remember, this is all relative, just the general direction of rates. But I think you're going to see this turnaround especially if we can get out of the Iran conflict. And then we got the new Fed president coming in. So it's going to be an interesting summer. Now, there are 89 major housing markets with year over year home price declines. No surprise there. But when we look at the home price declines, Punta Gorda, poor Punta Gorda, always leading the charge here for falling prices, and Cape Coral right behind them. But when we go down, we'll look at Orlando at 3.31%. So you can just see there's a lot of Florida markets on here. A lot of markets predicted to have a 2 to 3% depreciation over this year. And Zillow, let's see, also did their forecast for Florida, and theirs is in line. They're picking, let's say, in our market rate in Orlando, 12-month forecast of negative 0.8%. Just to say, there's not going to be, in my opinion, a massive market correction. No one knows for sure, but barring some black swan event, it's just not going to happen. So you just have buyers sitting it out, sellers that have a lot of equity being patient, and when the right home gets on the market for the right price, it sells really quickly. If you're a real estate agent, you know that. And if you're a buyer and you're competing for these homes that are in good areas, and they get priced right, you know you're competing. So there still is a lot of activity, still a lot of things out there. And if you're not using this as an opportunity, because we're using AI to streamline our business. We're using AI to help with marketing. We work with VAs in the Philippines to do different things that we can't do. If you're not setting yourself up for the next 5 years, because there's a lot of pent up supply and demand out there, and it is going to come really, really fast. I think just like the market's been trickling slow, when we get the right conditions being low rates, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. We're going to continue to track all this and more. We have the new Fed president coming in. We're going to track if the Fed starts, or if the market starts pricing in some Fed funds cut. Maybe, to me, it looks like they're pricing in maybe one cut this year, maybe two. I remember there's different Fed presidents saying different things, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a much better year in 2026 than it was in 2025. But a lot remains to play out. So we're going to track all this and more. If you have any questions on this, there's lots of loan programs out there. If you're a buyer listening to this, if you're a seller, with a good agent, they're getting houses sold fairly quickly, but you're not going to get wish pricing. And you're probably going to be helping out the buyer with closing costs and other stuff. Anyways, this is Rayce Robinson. This is your report for this week. If you have any questions on this or anything else, reach out. Have a great day, great week, and I'll talk to you soon.